All right, looks like we just hit noon, so let's go ahead and get started. I just want to thank you all for joining today. My name is Sheryl Saturnino Oliva, and I'm a program officer and the program lead for the Individual Artist Awards here at the Foundation. Before we start, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional lands of the Dena'ina people here in Anchorage, where the Rasmuson Foundation is based. Just some general housekeeping for this session. We are recording it. Actually, if I can get someone from my team to hit record, we'll be posting this recording on our website as soon as the session is over. And if you have any questions throughout the presentation, we will be hopefully answering them throughout the presentation, but feel free to post them in the chat and we can address them at the end. All right, next slide, please. All right. So lots of material that we're covering today. We are generally giving an overview of the Individual Artist Award program. We'll be going over eligibility requirements, what we're looking for, the open opportunities that are open this year, the fellowship and the Distinguished Artist Award. We'll provide some key dates and milestones for both award programs. And we're really excited to have a guest speaker today. We'll be featuring a previous panelist who will be talking more about the selection process and what they're looking for as they review applications. And finally, we'll end with some questions and ways you can reach out. Okay. So this is Rasmussen's vision and mission. We envision an Alaska where people, cultures, and communities are thriving. And our mission is to invest, connect, and convene, empowering Alaskans to help each other. Some history about the Rasmussen Foundation, if you're not familiar with us. We were founded in 1955 by Jenny Rasmussen in honor of her husband, E.A. They had 3 children, one of which was Elmer, who went on to lead the National First Bank of Alaska. Elmer and his wife, Mary Louise, left their estate to the foundation and has since transformed from a small family foundation to Alaska's largest private funder. And we're funding in various areas, including healthcare, social services, housing, and of course, arts and culture. In 2023, we're proud to have surpassed 500 million in grant making. Awesome. So what is IAA? The IAA, also known as the Individual Artist Awards, at its essence, provides support to an artist's development and practice. Since we've launched it in 2004, we have become a powerful force in the arts community, granting over 700 direct grants to individual artists in 54 communities throughout Alaska. There are 3 categories in the Individual Artist Awards program. The first is the Project Award. We just announced the winners for the Project Award last year. These are competitive grants of up to 50 awards of 10,000 each, both focused on specific short-term projects that can be accomplished within a year. This award is open to all career stages. It's open to both individuals and groups. And starting last year, it's open every other year. So the next cycle will open in 2027. If you'd like to see some past recipients, we have it on our website. We have some really cool past recipients to check out. Okay, the next competitive grant is the Fellowship Award. Head on top. Sorry about that. The next category is the Fellowship Award. This is a program that is open this year, also a competitive grant of up to 20 awards of $25,000 each. This grant is intended as flexible funding for creative growth and development of an artist. It's open to the mid-career and mature established career levels, open to individuals only, and it's open every other year starting this year. So it's open 2026 and it'll open again in 2028. And then finally, the third category of individual artist awards is the Distinguished Artist Award, also open now. This is a nomination-based award that recognizes an established artist for the creative excellence and significant artistic accomplishments, typically within a decades-long career. It's open to individuals only. It's open every year. And as I said, it's nomination-based, although someone may nominate themselves. And I'll go a little bit into the programs that are open this year, a little bit in the presentation. Awesome. So there are some eligibility requirements that I'd like to go over. So Rasmussen Foundation is very invested in Alaskans and the arts and culture ecosystem of our state. So we do require, if you are applying for these programs or are nominated, that you are a current Alaska resident, having lived in the state for the previous 2 years. We do require when you are applying that you are in the state and living here, and if you're awarded that you are maintaining your residency through the duration of the grant. If you have specific questions about if you've met the 2 years, if really specific questions about your eligibility, please book office hours with us, and we can talk through that. Some other eligibility requirements: we do require applicants to be at least 18 or older at time of application, that the artist is producing artist-driven work, meaning that you have creative control, that you're not being told by client or a supervisor to do this work, and that you're also able to meet the specified criteria of the career stages that we identify. Okay. And some requirements that deem someone ineligible. We don't allow any students. So if you are a student in an art program under the supervision of an art instructor, you are ineligible. Also, if you are a foundation board director, immediate family member, or a staff member, also ineligible. And additionally, any work samples that are made while you're a student or that are academic or scholarly in research, or client-driven or under direction of a firm, those things are also ineligible. One thing I'll also add is these are not emergency grants, and so this is really for the purpose of your practice and your artistic development. Okay. We do get a lot of questions about if I am a previous recipient, if I am able to apply. Yes, the answer is yes, but we do have a couple guidelines around this. So if you received a fellowship or a project award in 2025, so last year, you aren't eligible to apply until 2028 for the fellowship. If you have received an award in 2023 or before, you may apply for the fellowship this year or for the project next year. It's really up to you. Another thing to note is if you have any outstanding final reports and you're a previous recipient, that does need to be complete before receiving another award. If you have any questions about these things, please let us know. Okay. So the foundation recognizes 10 primary disciplines, and so if your discipline is within one of these, you are more than welcome to apply. So we recognize crafts, dance choreography, folk and traditional arts, literary arts and script works, media arts, multidiscipline, music and music composition, performance and theater, production arts, and visual arts as the primary disciplines. You are also able to select a secondary option if you have another creative practice or a supplemental creative practice. We've had some dancers who also wanted to choose a folk and traditional arts, so that's totally up to you. We allow you to self-select your disciplines. Okay, and the foundation recognizes 3 career stages, and so the emerging artist, these are artists that are in their early stages of their career. They have a strong portfolio and established artistic voice. The mid-career artist typically has already created an independent body of work and has progressed steadily through their career. Maybe they're starting to show, maybe they're starting to have residencies, things like that. And a mature and established artist typically has an extensive independent body of work representing a lifelong investigation and maturation of their personal creativity. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit more about the programs that are open now. So the Distinguished Artist Award, as I mentioned, is open annually to mature and established artists. This is the nomination only grant. The nomination form is open on our website now, and the deadline is April 20th. And we will be announcing the award in October at the same time as the fellowship. Some things that we are looking for. So I mentioned that Distinguished Artist is for the mature and established artists. Typically, what panelists are looking for is a broad impact on arts and culture, the creation of an extensive body of work found in collections, publications for public audience, that they've demonstrated creative excellence through decades-long career, recognition by their peers, and they may have received local, regional, or national awards or residences. One thing I'll also note is the Distinguished Artist is selected by an Alaska-based panel, and so we recruit Alaska-based artists and arts professionals to help select this one winner. And the Fellowship Award is also open now. The deadline is May 5th. If you are interested in applying, you would apply on our grants management system, Smart Simple. You can find the application link online. Awards will also be announced in October at the same time as Distinguished Artist Award, and the grant period would take place pretty much as soon as you are notified about the award. And things that the panelists are looking for. So I'll start by saying the panel process for fellowship is a little bit different. We do recruit a national panel of artists and art professionals for the fellowship and the project award. And so for the fellowship award particularly, they're looking for an applicant's potential for artistic growth and development, demonstrated success and a track record with prior projects. They're looking at an artist statement and experience and the quality of your work samples. And in a little bit here, I'll have Buzz talk a little bit more about the specifics of what panelists are looking for as they're reviewing. Okay. And one thing I wanted to also acknowledge is we do include cultural content review as part of the review process. The foundation, really values respect and community. And so if any applications are flagged for cultural appropriation, we do work with a cultural content reviewer to make sure that it's respectful to the cultural group, the practice, or the region. Okay. So if I have Buzz on here, we can stop the slides and bring Buzz on to talk a little bit about the review process. I think I see Buzz waving, but Buzz has my name. If we can pin Buzz and I. And Buzz, if you want to get off mute.
Now we're good to go.
There we go. Awesome. So I'll let Buzz kind of introduce himself, but I will say that Buzz has served as a panelist for, I think, a few IA cycles. And so I thought it'd be really great to bring Buzz on to just talk about the experience, what you've been looking for, and a little bit more about your experience as a panelist.
Thank you, Sheryl. It's really been a privilege to work with the Rasmuson Foundation on the two different grant programs I've been a jury member for. And in the case of the fellowships, some of the stuff that I've had to do in IAA grants involving budgets and work plans do not apply. The fellowships are for artists who have established themselves within the frameworks of their own practice and within the communities and the state. And so this is a jury that is going to attend much more so to the ways in which individual artists have developed their career through their own talents, through their interactions with communities, and through the integrity they brought to the studio and to their dealings with others.
Very cool. So given that we're open for fellowship this year, I know a lot of people have been really curious. Can you talk a little bit more about the mid-career, mature career stage, examples of candidates that would be ideal for the fellowship, and what signals someone is ready for this award versus not? I know that's kind of a loaded question, so.
Well, there's many factors, but sustained investment in the studio and in reaching a public is key to the fellowship program. It's not specifically duration linked. You can be mid-career, 5 to 10 years into what people understand as your mature artistic practice, but maturity is key. Whether you're in your early 30s or in your late 50s, mature means you have reckoned with the artistic and philosophical challenges of your discipline and have found your voice, however that voice will manifest in materials or in music or in writing.
Thank you. Um, so having done this for a few cycles of IAA, and I know you've also reviewed for other art grant programs, what are you generally looking for when you're reviewing an application? What makes an application strong?
So in the case of applications, it's almost always the case that the jury does not know the artist personally, may not know much more than what has been posted through sound folders or YouTube or slide documentation. You haven't seen the work, and so the factors that are most important then are how the artist chooses to represent his or her practice. So I'll use visual arts as my example. I look through the portfolio deeply several times over. And I do this even before reading the application, mostly to get a sense of how the applicant represents their actual art in a context where nobody will actually see it. I look for evidence of understanding of how materials and techniques work together to make the finished work. I look for evidence of craftsmanship appropriate to the meaning I presume each individual work expresses. Having said that, though, I specifically do not mean by this that I would expect excellence of craft to be of value in itself as something apart from the form of the work. You know, there's plenty of art on view before publics everywhere that seems to invite us to ask, how did she do that? Or else, how long did it take him to make? These really aren't the most important questions that art is capable of asking. I would argue, in fact, that whenever the technique by which a work is fashioned becomes itself the subject of our gaze, whatever other things the work has been made to say are being obscured. So, a sense I bring to my review always is that the best technique is an invisible armature. It operates to direct our attention through itself toward the meanings the artist wishes to share.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Hopefully that was helpful for you all. A couple other questions. In your experience, are there minor mistakes that you feel might undermine a proposal? What are some kind of things that you've seen in the past?
Oh, yeah. uh, the attending to the specific qualities of the documentation itself is the highest priority. Not what the candidate feels is their best work, but the work we will view that is best represented. Strong connections between the portfolio and the documentation of artist intentions are also important. So evaluations that discuss work the jury won't have seen won't create confusion about the candidate's presentation.
That's great. Thank you so much. Another question here, maybe related to what you've already said. Can you speak more about what it means for an artist to be advancing their practice? And so one of the questions that we get pretty often is, what is the difference between a project and a fellowship? The project is really project specific, whereas the fellowship, there might be a project involved, but it really is about catalyzing your development and creative growth as an artist. And so can you speak a little bit more to that and what that means to be advancing your practice for an artist?
Well, I think whatever the discipline, when a fellowship is involved, you're looking for candidates who show the most expansive dedication to their craft, to their heritage, and to their locale. And these candidates are also the likeliest to use Rasmuson Foundation support in relation to their artistic ambitions. And we would hope that the realization of those ambitions is one of sharing talents and principles with fellow citizens in Alaska and beyond. I think the question of what makes an artist recalls me to Descartes' formulation. You know, if a tree falls in a forest and no one is around to hear it, does it make a sound? Practicing artists artists of any discipline who specifically want to show their work to a public ask themselves variations of that question. The value of Rasmuson Foundation support goes beyond money in pocket for supplies or training. It is itself a judgment of quality and standing that draws people toward the recipient. I view it as an honor that serves to invite the public to approach the artist. What happens then is the artist's responsibility.
Excellent, excellent, awesome. And then one last question. Do you have any last words or pieces of advice? I know we have a lot of potential applicants here. What's something that you would leave them for today?
Being true to oneself is absolutely essential in any kind of creative endeavor. What is it you offer to the world? You offer yourself unmasked. For most of us, most of the time, we adopt a public persona to go out in public. That's what artists do when they're not showing their art. But the work, however it is received, whatever sensory basis it draws forth, is about, I hate to be mystical, but it's a kind of truth to the soul. It is showing what's beneath the mask in the heart of one's beliefs and actions in the world. So I think the strongest candidates we will encounter are doing that. We will be moved by the self within which we encounter the artistic talent.
Awesome. That is terrific advice. Thank you so much. So I think we'll go into the rest of the presentation. And I wanted to mention also Buzz. So for those that don't know, Buzz is an internationally renowned critic, artist, and writer. His work has been exhibited in museums and galleries throughout the US, Europe, and Asia. And it's held in the collections of the Whitney Museum and the Museum of Contemporary Art Chicago, among many other amazing places. So thank you so much, Buzz, for
Thank you, Cheryl. I forgot to say something about that.
You can add more if you'd like. I'm pretty sure I did not cover
Right.
your amazing biography. So awesome. Okay. We will go ahead and address a couple of frequently asked questions that we've received, and we'll give you all an opportunity, if there aren't questions that are addressed here, to ask later on. If I received an award in the past, can I apply again? Yes, but you must wait 3 years, as I mentioned. If you received an award last year, you do have to wait until 2028, but if you received it 2023 or before, you may apply this year if you choose. Another question we receive is, do I need to have received the project award to apply for the fellowship? Absolutely not. If you are in the eligibility requirements, Alaska resident, identify in the mid-career and mature stages, you are more than welcome to apply for the fellowship this year. Another great question that we get is, how do I know which program to apply for? We did embark on these program changes last year with a project award opening every odd year and the fellowship every even year. We do recommend that, given the cadence of this program, to just be mindful what fits your needs at the time of applying. So just be mindful of that. Next slide. Thank you. I have questions or need assistance with my application. You're more than welcome to email us at any time at arts@rasmussen.org, or we also have availability on our booking site. If I can have someone tag the booking link in the chat. We have availability now until essentially the end of the application period. So please, if you have specific questions about your eligibility, about your work samples, things like that, please reach out to us. And one thing I know that Gary just put in the chat that we like to point to is we do have an artist resource toolkit. And so there are many things in the application that we ask for: an artist statement, an artist resume. There is guidance in the artist resource toolkit that will help you kind of practice those things before you submit. So highly recommend checking those resources out. Next question, is an individual artist award taxable? It is taxable. We are not tax professionals, so if you do have questions about tax status or anything like that, please consult your CPA. When will I know of a decision? Announcements for both the fellowship and the Distinguished Artist Award will be made in October of this year. And another question that we get pretty often is, will I receive feedback on my declined application? Unfortunately, we are not providing any feedback on individual applications. Awesome. And like I said, please reach out if you have any questions. You can scan this QR code below for booking options. We will also be doing some outreach around the state. We'll be in Bethel for Jamai at the end of this month. We'll have a table there. We'll also be in Juneau in mid-April for the Alaska Folk Festival, and we'll also have coffee sessions at the Juneau Arts and Humanities Council. So just be on the lookout. We'll be announcing those. And again, we're based in Anchorage. We are still kind of finalizing coffee sessions and open office hours, but we will be at the Alaska State Council on the Arts State Convergence, which takes place, I believe, April 16 and 17, as well as the Arctic Encounter Summit on April 15th. And then Fairbanks we're trying to get to. Stay tuned on dates on that. Awesome. And then just a reminder that nominations for Distinguished Artist Award are due on April 20th. And if you are interested in applying for the fellowship, those applications are due on May 5th. And please reach out if you have any questions. Awesome. Thank you all for being here. Does anyone have any questions? I don't know if there were any that were posted in the chat. Buzz, I think you'll take some questions too, if there are any related to what you spoke about. Awesome. Elisa asked, how do I book a session with you? I am going to post in the chat right here. I know it's there. If you follow this link, rasmussen.org, you are able to find booking time on there. Jamie asked, will the recording be shared after the session? Yes, it will be. I believe we should have it up on our website and emailed out next week. Pat asks, can you speak more about work samples? Many film projects have funders or partner organizations. Are those ineligible work samples? That's a really great question. We are going to do a recording of an application workshop where we actually go through the application and show you how to submit. We do have a work samples guide in the Artist Resource Toolkit. And Pat, if you want to maybe book office hours, we can kind of talk about what you're thinking about submitting for work samples. We can kind of talk through that. Alexa asks, I have been living in Alaska for 1 year. Can I still apply as an emergent artist mid-career fellowship? We do require you are living in the state for at least 2 years. And so if you reach the 2 years next year, you can apply for the project award. Does the work sample 15-page limit for the literary art medium apply to screenwriting as well? I believe it does. I will have to double check with you on that. Let me write that down.
Yeah, I recall a past jury. It's the same limit for all writing-based practices.
Yes. Thank you. Great question. Owen asks, the fellowship is not project-based, but the application asks for proposal and focus. How defined should proposals be? That's a great question. And maybe Buzz, you want to chime in a little bit. As I mentioned, a project can be included in your fellowship proposal, but it is more about, how does this project maybe help you in your artistic growth and development?
Well, Sheryl, question, I think all artists at every stage have projects they're working on. So the fellowship supports the general endeavor of an established career, but the foundation wants to hear about how that project arises from past work. Not what it costs, but what it means.
Yeah. Yeah, and actually, I don't know if we mentioned this. In the project award, we do ask for a budget, and the fellowship, we don't. So the fellowship is more flexible funds for your growth. Madeline asked, can we apply for both? One is a group project, one would be for personal artistic development. Madeline, do you mean 2 applications for the fellowship or apply for fellowship and project? I think you mean the former. Yeah, yes. So for the fellowship, only individual applications are allowed. You can apply for the project and the fellowship, but you can, so let's say you won the fellowship this year, you'd have to wait 3 years. So it's really up to you, like I said. I think it'd be really helpful to define which one fits your needs most at the time of application.
Thank you.
You're welcome. See you note from Raphael. Thanks, Cheryl and Buzz. It was a very informative session. Thank you. Good to see you. Thank you all.
This was great.
Yes, thank you all so much. Yeah, and if you have more questions that you think of, like I said, book office hours, or you can email arts@rasmussen.org. Erin asked, can I ask again what materials you would like to establish Alaskan residency? That's a great question. And so we typically ask for your PFD confirmation. I believe the PFD deadline is on the 31st. So if you've applied for it for 2026, people typically will upload the PFD signing confirmation or things like that. And then we have a full list of residency eligible documents on our website as well. And Erin, I can follow up with you on those. Great question. Will we be interviewed with staff once the application is submitted? No. So once you've submitted the application, it might be a little bit radio silent for a little bit as we kind of go through applications and it goes through the review process. So we really recommend, if you're thinking of applying, to start early. You don't want to start an application last minute. You really want to put a lot of thought and effort into the application. So we won't offer any kind of redos or open up an application for edits, things like that. So really want to put in your best work after the deadline. Great. Buzz says the more forethought, the better. Exactly. Okay. I'm not seeing any more questions come through. So just thank you all for your time. Please. Oh, Jean.
I have a question.
One more question. Okay. Jean asks, is the application the same every year? That's a great question. So they are pretty similar. The only difference between the project and the fellowship application is in the project, we do ask for a pretty detailed budget on your specific project. The fellowship, you don't need to provide a budget. But we do ask questions on if you were to receive this award, what would you do with the grant funds? The focus of your project or your proposal, things like that. I think someone came off mute. Was there another question?
It was me. I typed it.
Oh.
I don't know.
I can't work with program officers if you know them a little, can we? You can definitely book office hours and we can chat through your application.
Okay.
To expand on Madeline's question, can you apply for fellowship and be nominated for distinguished? Yes, that's a great question. The reason being the fellowship and the project and distinguished artist award selection processes are different. And a distinguished artist often doesn't know that they're being nominated. So it is pretty rare that happens, but yes, that is okay. Okay. I think that is maybe it. I'm happy to stick around for a little bit longer if anyone wants to ask questions on here. But I think we are all good. Thank you so much, everyone. Enjoy your Friday and enjoy your weekend.